Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, the country of Poland is arming itself to the teeth. And the question is, why? If you think it's the boogeyman, Russia, who's incapable of even winning against Ukraine, then it can't be the reason. Then what else could be? Is it Germany? Is it other countries surrounding Poland? Should the other countries be concerned, even though they are supposedly partners and allies? Well, let me show you what the Poles are doing. Here is one article out of 3. The Kiev Independent. Poland to double the size of military in response to security threat. Disclaimer. They can triple it if they want. They can do whatever they want. They have my approval. They can make it, I don't know, 10 million if they want. The population is about 40 or something, around 40 million. So they can do as big as they want it. That's not my problem. That's their expensive. That's their doing. The issue is why. If you think that Poland is threatened, you might want to ask by whom. And you say, well, by the Russians. Aren't the Russians losing the war effort against Hungary? Dare to say no. Of course the Russians have been losing, we've been told every day, since February 24th, 2022. So now which one is it? The Russians are winning and these guys need to arm, or the Russians are losing, therefore these guys don't see that as a threat. Are they scared of the 9,000 Wagner mercenaries without heavy equipment in Belarus? Can't be. It's only 9,000 after all. Are they afraid of the Belarusian army? No, Belarus is not as strong as Poland. Again, they can arm themselves with whatever they want. And the key word is with whatever they want. Yes, including that. Because I don't see why, for instance, this country or that country can have it, and this country and that country can't have it. I mean, from a fair point of, looking at the situation, why should someone who's actually a perpetrator of using those should be having them? No, that guy should be armed. Like a person who committed a crime, armed robbery, you would allow that person to still have a gun and be in charge of telling who can have guns and who cannot have guns? Obviously, that's idiotic. Well, we have exactly that situation. So, Poland does that. Let me read you a little bit how these guys are going to interpret it, and maybe they're going to give us some numbers. I think right now, as it stands, the Polish army is about 150,000 people, or something like, or 200,000. But hey, let's see, maybe these guys tell us. The size of the Polish military is being nearly doubled in response to the threat posed by Russia and Belarus. No, because we hear they have a very rusty army. These guys are losing against the Ukrainians. So anyway, Polish Deputy Prime Minister Jarosław Kaczynski said during a visit to the town of Tra-la-la-la-la. Okay, good. So they are afraid. No problem. So existing units are being replenished and 3 new divisions are being created for a total of 6, with a 7th being a possibility. Polish military presence on Belarusian border is being strengthened as well. Now let's say the Russians will double their military. How do you think that would be reported here in the Free West? They're weak, they're losing, or they're arming, they want to cross and go to the Atlantic Ocean, subjugate all the European countries, the Western values and all that BS, right? Is that how they're going to interpret it? Definitely. Why? Because they're good? No, because they say they're bad. But the Poles are good. Still, we'll find out when the Poles make the wrong move, all of a sudden, overnight, they will be considered bad. That's how things go here. So, let's see. Do we have any? And then they use the pseudo PMC abortive meeting. They also are scared of the thousands of Wagner troops, 9,000 without and heavy equipment. No, that's not heavy equipment. That's light equipment. They don't have any tanks, no airplanes, no nothing. And besides, they stay in tents. They live in tents in Belarus. 2 missiles will take care of all the 9,000. But anyway, this is what they say. I don't see here any number. We can find it on Wikipedia, but we're gonna look at the second one. Let's see. Where is Poland? So Poland is right here. Yeah, like Central Europe, right? Poland is the green thing, green grass of home. This is Ukraine, Belarus. You see Belarus. This is Kaliningrad here, and then you have the 5 million total population Baltic states, three states. And here is Russia. Russia took over these little things here, so it's just a little bit closer, but it's a long way. It's been like this for a year and a half, and it doesn't seem that they're going to advance. On the contrary, the Ukrainians supposedly, we're told, their counteroffensive is in full swing. So why are you scared, homie, again? Why are you scared? Oh, maybe these guys who you want them to pay $1.3 trillion reparation for a Second World War? Is that what it is? Shouldn't be Czech Republic, should be Slovakia, should be Hungary especially be scared? Why nobody else but Poland arms itself? I haven't heard any other country arming itself like these guys. And as I said, they could arm themselves with everything they fit necessary. Okay, whatever they want. Oh, here's Gdansk corridor. If you got a line like this, you kind of realize how much. Anyway, let's move to the next one. Poland will purchase all HIMARS it can say. This is February 20th, 2023. Look how many HIMARS they want to buy. And they have the approval of the US Department of Defense. 500 HIMARS. How many are in Ukraine and they're keeping the Russians at bay? 30? 20? They were not even scratched by the Russians. Why do you buy 500? It doesn't make sense. If those 30 HIMARS, which I'm inflating the number because I think it's like 25 or something, 20 some, but I lost count, it doesn't really matter, is no more than 30. Let's say 40. Remember when the Ukrainians stopped the Russians, supposedly, when they received the first 8 HIMARS. So the 8 HIMARS, they did the job. Why do these guys want 500? If they're unbreakable, undetectable, undestroyable, why do you need 500? For the Russians, already we're told the Russians are losers. They have no equipment to detect them. And they can't beat the Ukrainians for what? For a year and a half. They can destroy the HIMARS. On the contrary, they've been losing. And right now with the counteroffensive, Putin is shitting his pants. Why do you need 500? Make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. Are you getting ready to fight Germany? Germany is even weaker than Russia. Who are they fighting? Who are they getting ready? Are just going to buy things? It's a scheme over here. And that's not all. That's 500 HIMARS, but they buy 300 South Korean, I would call them HIMARS, but they're not HIMARS. Let me show you. Ready? Not you guys. I don't listen to you. I just read you. Poland to buy hundreds of South Korean Shumu multiple rocket launchers. Exactly how many? Right here, close to 300 multiple rocket launchers. Okay, has completed its negotiations with South Korea to buy close to 300, my friends. When was this? 2022 in October. So in October this, in February, whatever this was, February was this. So you tell me these guys are going to have 800 multiple rocket systems, South Koreans and American. 800! And supposedly, we are supposed to believe, which is a fact, the Russians are not advancing. That's a fact. All right? So the Ukrainians stopped the Russians with the HIMARS. At one point they were what? 12 and then 18 or something? So why do you need 800? 800, my friends. 800. And then you double your military. For Belarus, I mean, the Russians can't make it against the 12, 20, 30 HIMARS. All right, my friends. Something is stinking here. And I don't know why the Poles are getting ready and for whom. Do they want to go independent? That means, escaping the US plantation. I don't know, because they like it so far. They like it because they're the Trojan horse in the European Union. And they know it. Everybody knows it. But I don't think the US still needs a Trojan horse in the European Union, since I think they own the European Union and NATO and the continent. So how do I know that? Tell me when any country in Europe, including the European Union as a whole, let's say Brussels, had a different opinion and blocked the Americans of doing something in Europe. And tell me how many times the United States said, we have to do this in Europe. And everybody was like, okay, yeah, we're going to do this. Bring more troops. Yeah, to defend the eastern flank, NATO eastern flank. Come on, it's too obvious. So I don't know what the Poles exactly are doing over there. And the Poles want a lot of territory. If you don't believe me, you will see. You will see. They have a lot of, desire. They think that certain territories belong to them. Yeah, they used to belong to them, but certain territories that you have did not belong to you. So what are they going to do about it? And don't pretend that they are going to use the 800 air defense systems, the rocket multiple, blah, 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 against Kaliningrad, all right? Which is just an enclave over there that could be bombarded in 2 minutes and obliterated. Maybe, we're surely going to find out why they need that, and I don't think they need it for self-defense. I think they will need it for a reason. Hey, you did me wrong, boom, I have to defend myself, and I'm going to annihilate you. And I think it's going to be probably Ukraine or anybody else around them. I think nobody is safe, including Germany. Germany has no balls anyway, but Germany has United States troops over there. Since what, 1945? We'll see, we'll find out, but not for good outcome. I suspect. I have no evidence, but when you see a guy that is usually angry and drinks some alcohol and gets angrier, and he gets his shotgun and say, oh, I don't need a shotgun, he gets his bazooka instead, and he walks towards the neighbor's house, or at least he walks out of his house in the neighborhood with his loaded bazooka, and in the meantime he's checking his revolver or whatever else. What could you expect? He's just scared of everybody else, or he's having a little mission? I think the second option applies. Check. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.